Hello everyone. So since my last rapid fire review yesterday, I was able to watch 4 more movies. Like I said, I'm trying to pump all of these out as quick as I can to get you, like I said, reviews of almost everything that came out this year. I'm trying my very best just so I can have a more definitive and more diverse list of movies to choose for my recommendations in my top 10 of 2021. So the 4 movies I was able to watch were Ron's Gone Wrong, House of Gucci, Finch, and Copshop. So without further ado, let me get into reviewing these 4 movies. Of course, this is rapid fire, so they're going to be my general opinions about all of them. I'm not going to go too in depth, but yeah, let's get into them. So first, I'm going to start with Finch. This is a new Tom Hanks movie that premiered on Apple Plus or Apple TV. It is just about 2 hours and 15 minutes long, if I'm remembering that correctly, but is about a post-apocalyptic Earth where most of the world was wiped out by natural disasters, and most of humanity either died to the natural disasters or they killed each other off, scavenging for resources, park, shelter, things like that. And there's a lot of dust storms and tornadoes that just rip through the planet almost like every half an hour. It seems like you're never really safe if you're outside, and even if you're inside, the elements can still get at you. So Finch has grouped up with a dog that he found kind of when the apocalypse first was starting to break out, and he's created a couple robot AIs, one of which is brand new, who's able to basically go out and grab stuff and do stuff for him since he's getting older, sicker, and of course the elements are just getting too much and he can't handle them outside. So a lot of this is just kind of his story of isolation and making friends with, of course, the dog and this new robot that he's built for himself, and of course just personal survival and braving the elements. So this can feel like a very empty film a lot of the time, but I found a lot of the humor and his robot Jeff were just very great chemistry that they had together, and it made it really fun in a lot of cases. And I just really loved his AI. He's cute and funny, and it was fun just to watch him grow and learn and kind of go through this. But of course, they brush over a lot of stuff in terms of the apocalypse, and like I said, it can feel empty sometimes, very sparse in terms of storytelling, and not too much goes on in this movie, but it was enjoyable. There's some great cinematography shots. There's some fun ways that he gets out of like the situations he's put in with disasters and little things like that with the technology that they have in the future. Nothing too new, but it still was fun and enjoyable enough to watch, and that is why I'm going to give Finch a 6 out of 10, and I do recommend it. It's a fun little binge. Next up is Copshop. This is a film starring Gerard Butler and Frank Grillo, and it is about, it's Frank Grillo's character is basically, he's on the run from some bad people, and he purposely gets himself arrested in this small little town. They take him into the sheriff's station, but then slowly a bunch of bounty hunters start trying to breach the little sheriff's station that he's at and killing the cops, and it kind of turns into almost like a, there's so many characters in this, but almost like a 3-way war between the inmates, the cops, and the bounty hunters that are coming trying to kill and collect the reward that's on Frank Grillo's character. And Gerard Butler kind of inserts himself into the prison with him, where he's offering protection for him too if he gets a sum of the money that Frank's character has stolen. And there's just a really smart cop on the other side who kind of sniffs all this out and is trying her best to keep him alive, but at the same time just gather information about who's coming after them, and playing both sides a little bit for one to do the right thing as a cop, but also just kind of in terms of self-preservation, because she realizes that shit is going very south in this police station. There is some really great action, some good hand-to-hand scenes, some very good gunfights as well that they have in this, but a lot of the time, a lot of the side characters are just very brushed over. It's really generic characters who don't get too much depth or static to them throughout this movie. It is funny, it can be fun, and like I said, the action is good to watch, and I did have a very fun time watching it. There's some really good, awesome action scenes in this, and yeah, no, honestly, I did like it. There is a lot of things that this movie could have done a little bit better with. It can get very predictable sometimes, but I had fun with it, and that is why I'm going to give Copshop a 6.5 out of 10. So third on the list of House of Gucci, this is a star-studded cast from Lady Gaga to Robert De Niro, Adam Driver, Jared Leto in this, and it is about the Gucci family who created, of course, the clothes that you know, and it gets into kind of like the mafia style and just the bad business that this company got into, and of course the assassination of the head of the Gucci family. And I just found that this movie wasn't very well paced at all. The first 45 minutes does a great job setting the story up, but then it just kind of takes this weird turn into the crime focus that I just didn't find meshed together well with how this movie set itself up. And it just, like I said, dragged on very long. I didn't really find the characters, they're not likable at all. There, of course, there is some interesting things to them, but not really enough to carry the film. What does is the performances, specifically by Adam Driver and Lady Gaga. But I did find that Jared Leto gave one of my least favorite performances of the year in this film. I feel like for some people, it's going to be a love relationship with it. A lot of people are going to be a hate relationship with it. I'm the prior. I just hated the voice that he did. It was like a mashup between Mario and Luigi, and just weird body movements that he had. And yeah, like I said, it's just the pacing and some performances just really held this movie back, and just kind of the lackluster lifestyle that these people live. Just, I didn't find it interesting, or a movie that really needed to be made. And yeah, with all this taken together, that's why I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. Like I said, some of the performances in this are very worthwhile. Adam Driver is like really knocked it out of the park, as he usually does, but I just wasn't able to get into this one. And last but definitely not least on this is Ron's Gone Wrong. This is an animated film that came out a few months ago. It's about an hour and 45 minutes long, and it was just a really fun movie. It's basically in a world where people are obsessed with these little gadgets that's they're like little robots. Almost think of them as like little Baymaxes from Big Hero 6, but they are a social media unit that basically becomes someone's best friend and helps them create connections in the real world through gathering their interests, learning everything about them, and yeah, just establishing connections. And of course, you can kind of see how the social media and business side of that can work its way into this movie, where it's like, oh, well, they're kind of spying on you and they create these things to sell you things at the same time. But the creator of these robots didn't want that at all. So you kind of have his story where he sees this rogue bot that was gifted to this kid who got his bot like 2 years after this has all happened. He has lived his life kind of isolated because he didn't have one of these robots to establish his connection. So he was very isolated. But for his birthday, he gets one that's from his parents. They basically bought a back alley one that was damaged, and its code is absolutely missing. So all the safety segments, it's just doing kind of everything wrong from what the code was put in, where it can get in the fights with people. It has no safety measures. It's very loopy, but hilarious. And this young boy establishes a very good relationship with that. And the creator of this company sees that, and that's exactly what he wanted from these robots in the first place, like real connections that make both parties laugh and actually get them outside and doing a lot of things, instead of kind of being this social media outlet that these kids have kind of been forced into unwillingly. And there's a lot of control from, of course, the government, the company, just basically trying to profit off this. But it's a story of just kind of letting not only just AIs but humans be free and create relationships that way. And I just found it was a very cute, very funny, very well-paced movie. I really enjoyed this one. It just put a smile on my face throughout the whole thing. I thought it was absolutely hilarious, like genuine laughs I had in this film, and that's why I have to give it an 8 out of 10 and a very high recommendation. I think it's something super fun for anyone, and especially kids will love this one. Very funny, and yeah, just great ending, great pacing, and overall just really funny. And I really enjoyed this film. It's one of my favorite animated films of the year for certain. So if you've seen any of these films, please let me know what you thought of them in the comments down below. Which one was your favorites, and which ones should I review next to wrap up the 2021 year of movies and reviews? And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You can check out everything I do on my channel through my playlist down below, and I'll link them up top here. If you want to subscribe, turn the little ringer on to know when I upload new videos, that'd be absolutely awesome. And if you want to check out my Twitch and everything I do live stream, the links to that is in my bio of this video, and of course in my page. And there's also a link in both of those places to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord, where we talk about movies, video games, TV, comic books, music, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can definitely join that amazing community. I'll make it even more amazing than it is already. But yes, go check out all these 4 films, and can't wait to review more films for you guys for the rest of this year, and just awesome.